So you realize you couldn't do world edit, and that's completely understandable. There's a lot of commands, and it's a little bit overwhelming at first. I'm here to show you the basics and help you along as you learn how to use your new commands, whether you bought them from Architect, you got them as a staff member, you're a master builder, or you just stumbled upon this video and have no idea what Ohanacraft is. For those of you who don't know, this is a small, family-friendly server that's welcome to families, kids, and anyone who wants a safe environment to play Minecraft and make friends without being hassled by all of those unfriendly activities that you can find on some bigger servers. I'm Akitty, and I'm going to be your instructor today, so please feel free to let me know if you need any more of these basics videos. We'll get started on the basics, and then towards the end of the video, I'll jump into some things that I don't use very often, but are super helpful if making big build projects. So, since World Edit automatically makes their wand tool a wooden axe, I would automatically assume that the tool is the wooden axe if you don't have access to //wand, but I would like to preface that a lot of servers change this to a different tool. I have seen iron shovels, golden shovels, iron axes, all sorts of different things, and I would just suggest using //wand if you're gaining access to World Edit on a server. So this is the hands-on tool to make rectangular selections in World Edit. I'll show you another way in just a few minutes. Please disregard the clear lag warnings throughout this video. They're going to be somewhat frequent as it's just how the creative server operates. Say I want to make a selection from here all the way over to up here. To start making a selection, I'm going to left click on this block right here to set the first position. You'll see in chat that it says that the position was set, and then I'm going to use my right mouse button to click on this block, and you can see in chat as well again that the second position was set. Now I have this region selected, as these are rectangular selections, so you just need opposite corners to select the region. So I'm going to type in chat //set pink, which is the block that I want, concrete, and then I'm going to hit enter. And this is going to fill that region, including all the blocks that were in it before. See, those gold blocks were gone, with pink terracotta. So of course you can do this with any block that you would like. You have full access to all of the creative menu, of course, with World Edit. The restrictions on Ohanacraft will make sure that these selections and fills are not more than what our server can handle. So you may be limited, so just keep that restriction in mind if you're playing on Ohanacraft. Through this video, I don't have a restriction, so I'm going to use it to make a few bigger shapes to just show you what World Edit has to offer in case you aren't playing on our server or don't have these restrictions. So now I'm going to show you another way to make a selection for an area because it might not always be the easiest way to click on blocks to select them. So for example, if you wanted to place all of these blocks just to click on this one to make a selection with the floor, that might take some time that you would rather spend building or doing something more productive. So this next way of selecting, you don't need this axe anymore, so I'm going to put it away. You're going to stand on the corner just like how you would click it, and instead of clicking it, you would type //pause 1. This is going to set that first position where your feet are. So this is going to be right above this grass block. So make sure you keep that in mind and you're not thinking it's where your head is or what block you're looking at, because I've made that mistake before. Especially when I first started out, I thought it was where I was looking and I was so confused why everything was off by a few blocks. So we're going to go ahead now and set that second position. I'm just going to stay in line kind of here, kind of aim for where I was before and type the same command, but instead of the 1, I'm clicking a 2. You can see in chat again that I have that pause 1 and pause 2. If you put just first positions in a row, you're not going to get a selection, especially not the one that you want. If you do get a selection, it might be entirely way too big. I have definitely accidentally done this before and deleted things that were not supposed to be deleted. Don't worry, //undo had my back, but definitely make sure you check before you make any large selections like so. Okay, for this selection, I know it's not visible, but it will be in just a second. I'm going to, instead of pink, I think light blue is suiting this selection. So I'm going to do //set light blue, because I like light blue. And you can see it worked just like using the wand did, and it was a lot easier, a lot faster. I tend to use this method more than the axe unless I'm doing something that already has blocks there. Since you will probably only have World Edit access in creative mode, you can just fly up to the other corner and it makes it 10 times easier. So these are just the most simple selections and most simple ways of filling an area. So say you don't want a solid cube of random blocks and you would much prefer to quickly put walls on a house. This is super easy with World Edit. Again, you just make a selection, pause 1, and I'm going to stay in line here. I'm going to make it a little bit taller. Pause 2. This makes our selection is set, and if I just wanted walls, I would type / walls and then the block that I want. In this case, I'm going to do lime concrete just for fun. You can see now it's hollow, there's no floor, there is no ceilings, it is just walls. This is super handy if you're making a house and it may be big and you don't want to place all of these blocks. If you want a completely enclosed room, you can also do this the same way, but instead of / walls, it's / faces. I'm just going to use the same selection just to kind of show you without having to make a new one. Make sure you put in the block that you want it to be. I'm going to put in lime concrete again, and now you can see we have a ceiling and a floor, but hollow on the inside. Again, a super fast way of making a building that you might not want to build all the way out. Maybe you realize that these blocks aren't really what you wanted and you're too far into the build, or you maybe have gone too far with World Edit to do / undo maybe 20 times, so you want to just delete it all in one go. You can do / wand in this case, or set those positions manually, but since there are blocks here, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to click up here with my first position, and then over here in the corner for my second, and then I'm going to type / air, and that is going to clear all of those and set it with air. I'm going to go ahead and remove these as we don't need them anymore, as we're going to go into some more manually placed shapes. We're going to start off with the one that I think is most versatile and what I end up using for towers or any type of circular build that is a cylinder. You can create a cylinder by typing / CYL. You're going to put a space, and just like that set command, you're going to put the block that you want it to be. In this case, I think I'm going to do stone just for the basic look. These next two numbers are going to be the radius and then the height. So in this case, I think I'm going to have a radius of 10. This is going to go on either side of where I'm standing, so I'm going to be placed right in the center of the cylinder. The next number is the height, like I said before. In this case, I'm going to do, say, 20, 30, maybe let's say 30 blocks tall. This is going to be a little bit taller than it is wide. I am inside of it, so I'm just going to back up here. And you can see that this is a cylinder. It is completely solid if we go inside. So say you don't necessarily want just a solid block of stone, and maybe you want to turn this into a tower or something with an interior design. You can type the same command here. I just hit the up arrow in my chat to get it back so I didn't have to type it out again. If you want it to be hollow, and this goes for any shape with World Edit, you can type an H right in front here, right in front of the cylinder, and then hit enter, and it's going to make that same cylinder but hollow instead. So this same technique can be used with spheres, and for a sphere you type / sphere, a space, the block that you want. I almost typed block, stone, again, for why not, and then space, and then this number is going to be the radius from you to the side and you to the top or bottom. And then the radius, I'm thinking like 10. We'll go for a rather large sphere. Again, you can't see it because I'm in spectator, but there it is, right where we wanted it, and the block that we chose. So just like the cylinder over there, we can make this hollow by typing the same command in as we did before, this one right here, and typing an H right before the sphere. As you can see, that made a hollow sphere, but I'm not sure that anyone I know would want just a plain stone hollow sphere, and most of the time they want to turn it into something like a bubble, maybe an astronaut mask, or just somewhere to build a cute little terrarium in. But you're not going to want to do that in stone, and you can replace blocks that have already been placed with / replace or / replace near. So I'm going to quickly go through those for you. So since I'm already in here, I'm going to start off with / replace near. This is going to be without making a selection, so you're going to have to put a radius in. So this command is / replace near space, and then the radius of how many blocks around you you want to be replaced. So I'm going to put in, since the sphere was 10, I'm going to put 15 just to make sure we get it all. And then the next block is what is being replaced. So I want to change the stone that I've already placed into glass. So I'm just going to type out stone glass and then hit enter, and you can see all of those stone blocks are now glass. So we can see through and get some light in here. Another handy command that I'll just throw in here for you is / through. It teleports you through so you don't have to break anything. So that was the replace near command, and now that we're outside, I'm going to use the other replace command to show you how to turn this one into a brighter color. I'm going to make a selection with those same commands, / pause 1. I'm going to fly on over to the opposite corner up here and do / pause 2. Now I want this one to be a fun color like before, so maybe I'll make it into yellow concrete. So I'm going to type / replace. There is no need for a radius as it's going to only replace things that are in that selection that we just made. And I'm turning the stone into yellow concrete. Oops, not yellow banners. That would be weird. And now it's a yellow sphere. And you can see on the inside, it is all yellow as well. So those are the commands that I use most often and are the most basic, and honestly, they're kind of hard to forget. If you want a sphere, you type sphere. If you want a cylinder, you type cylinder. And if you want just walls to a building, you type /walls. So it's not that hard to think of or to look up even, but these next commands are what I use more frequently, I think, and honestly come in more handy because I don't find myself making towers with cylinders or spheres very often. Since we're on the flat surface, I just grabbed myself a wand. I'm going to make a quick little selection here, no different than all of our other ones, just a little rectangle. So say you want to make a garden, and your garden, you want to put a bed in it. So you don't want it to just be dirt, like so. You don't just want a dirt garden bed, because that's going to grow over with grass, and it's just going to cause problems, and it's not very intriguing to look at. Instead of going in manually and placing each variety of block, you can add more than one block to a set command. So say I wanted this to be mixed with dirt and coarse dirt. I'm going to type a comma and then coarse dirt afterwards, and you can see it automatically adds a variety and randomizes the pattern. And of course you can add way more than just 2 blocks. So say I wanted to add some podzol to my garden bed, and now I have a larger variety. And sometimes I like adding some stripped spruce, just because, you know, why not? It's the same color. The first thing that I suggest you do as an architect who just bought the rank and you want to upgrade your plots in creative mode, I would totally recommend selecting your plot. You can do so however you want, whether it be with the wand or with the commands. I recommend selecting your plot, setting the floor to be both grass blocks and moss blocks. This is going to give you a little bit more of a variety, make it look more natural, and also make your plot look so much more lived in, used, make you look like a professional. This command can also be implemented with percentages if you want a certain percent of one block and a certain percent of another one. So that is how you would set it, and it would be 50-50 right here. You can see there's basically half white, half black. That's just how the plugin works, is if you put 2, it's going to be 50-50. If I add another white wool after, you're going to see an increase in that white wool compared to the black. See, there's more white than there is black. But say I don't want that much black compared to white, I am not going to type out white wool 20 million times just so I have a few black wools. Instead, I'm going to just type the 2. I'm going to go in front of black wool and I'm going to type 2%. And then in front of white wool, I'm going to type 98%. Make sure these percentages add up to 100 because there is no way that World Edit is going to place more than you tell it to. So this command should give us less black than white by quite a far number, and you can see that right now. So these are great ways to add texture, and I think that's a big step in improving your builds, is adding texture in both a random way but also a planned way, so just make sure that you're not using this everywhere. So next up, I'm going to show you how to use a brush. I went ahead and grabbed a tool out of my inventory and put away that World Edit selection tool. Make sure you're using some other tool, not the wooden axe or whatever server you're on uses as the selection tool for World Edit, because it's not going to work, I promise. This brush tool we're going to look into first is going to be the sphere brush. So I'm going to type / brush, sphere, and then the block I want it to be made out of. In this case, I'm going to use a diamond block. Then I'm going to hit the space key, and I'm going to put the radius as I want this to place. I'm going to do 3 for our convenience today. You see this right here in chat, equipped brush sphere. So that makes this tool in my inventory a brush that automatically pastes in spheres wherever I click. So that crosshair is going to be where I'm aiming, and you can see as I place this, I'm placing spheres wherever I click. This is what I use to terrain pretty regularly, and you can build it up just like so. If you want to create a hill and a mountain or any of those sorts of things, you can kind of see how it's forming. Of course, I would do this out of dirt or stone or whatever. I probably would not make a diamond hill unless that's what you're wanting. Another way to do this is to use the brush tool that is a cylinder. So it's going to be that same command, but instead of sphere right here, I'm going to replace this with cylinder. It's the same command, prefix CYL, and now this is going to want me to put a height for my cylinder, so I'm going to do 3. Now you can see instead of spheres, I'm making cylinders. This can be better for flatter areas, lower hills, filling in holes, whatever you need it for. It's up to you. So there is another brush command. It is / brush paint. This is going to paint the surface that you're looking at. I'm going to type / brush paint, and then the shape I want my brush to be. So in this case, I'm going to do sphere, just so they're kind of round paintbrush strokes, and then set, because this is setting the block that I'm going to be clicking. So I'm going to paint this cylinder that we had placed before in stone to be pink. So I'm going to make pink terracotta my brush. You can see it's a variety, just like before. It's not automatically 100% opacity. All those opacity settings can be changed within the command if you wanted to. I'm just going to leave it like this for now because I like adding texture like so. So this is a nice way to add a speckled tone to the tops of builds or wherever you want. These are the 3 brushes that I use most. There's a few more within World Edit, as you can see here. If you've already accomplished all of these smaller skills, I totally recommend going in and looking at all of the different brushes, but I'm just going to show you one more before we move on, because there is no way I'm getting through all of these brushes. As you can see, I'm scrolling now in this video. There's no way I'm getting through them all. The last one I'm going to show you is the smooth tool, and that is just / brush smooth, and then the radius that you want to smooth. I'm going to click 4 just because I can. This is going to kind of blend together things and tends to move things downwards, but you can see it does not go up. This did not blend it up to make this bottom rounded. It instead tried to connect it with the ground, so make sure you keep that in mind. This is 100% what I use after making a hill or something, just to make sure it looks more natural. As you can see now, those spheres quickly turned into a natural looking landscape. I can do the same around the edge of this. It just blends those diamond blocks into the grass that's around it. So those are all the brushes that I'm going to go into, and since we're here looking at this hill, I'm just going to show you this really quick Naturalize tool. I'm going to select my position and my position 2 just around this hill. I'm going to set all the diamond blocks to stone. So just as we did before, it's / replace diamond blocks to stone, and you can see all those diamond blocks just turned into stone. And now that selection is still in place, I'm going to type / naturalize, and you can see all those stone turned into grass blocks. And you might be, hey Kitty, why didn't you just turn it into grass blocks instead of into stone? So the Naturalize tool makes it into a natural looking hill. So if I dig in here, you can see there is stone. The hill wasn't very tall, so Minecraft Generation has 4 blocks above any stone, so there's just one layer down here since our hill was really short. But on bigger mountains and bigger hills, this is so useful for not making it just look like a giant dirt mound and giving it a little bit of variety. You'll see some exposed stone in cliff sides and all of that sort of thing. Now we're going to move on to some commands that are a lot more helpful with moving builds and working with builds that are already built. Today I'm just going to use this villager house here as demonstration. I went ahead and selected with pause 1 and pause 2 as you see in chat right here. To copy the house, I'm going to stand where I want it to be copied from. In this case, I'm just going to stand in this corner right here. I'm going to type / copy. And you can see in chat, it shows you how many blocks have been copied. And if anything's been affected, usually it's 0. So I'm going to go over here where it's open so we can see. And as you can see here, there is no house. So I'm going to stand where I want it to be placed. And I'm going to click / paste. You can see that house went right into place. So when you're copying something, it includes everything in that selection, including the air blocks. So when you paste it in, it's going to remove everything that's in its way. So say these stairs are here, just because there's some stairs here. And I want to place a house, but I don't want it to mess up these stairs. Because if I paste it right in here, like so, you can see those stairs got deleted. Because when I copied the house, I copied the air that was also in front of the house. So when I pasted it in, it also pasted in that air and removed my stairs. But I want to keep my stairs, because maybe I want it to be leading up to the roof of my house. Why, I don't know, but you know, why not? I'm going to do this by typing / paste, just as I did before, but instead I'm going to put -air. This is going to not paste in the air that was in my selection before. As you can see, my stairs are still here, and if I were to paste that in before, it would have been erased as I showed you. This is a handy way to paste either buildings, or I usually use it for trees really close together so they don't obstruct one another and leave weird corner shapes in each other. And you'll see the more you use World Edit, but this is super handy and it tends to cause less lag in the long run as well. I'm just going to leave that there, but I'm feeling bored by these houses being at the same orientation. So I'm going to use the rotate command to rotate the houses. So instead of the door being on this side, it's going to be on this side right here. I'm going to do this by doing / rotate. And for this rotation, I think 90 will be suitable. This is going to rotate it in my clipboard. Right now, stored in my clipboard is that villager house. And since I clicked rotate, now instead of it being stored in that orientation, it's stored rotated 90 degrees. So when I paste it, it's going to paste my clipboard, and you can see the stairs are on this other side now instead of being on the front. Well, now that's the front, but instead of being on that front, it's on this front, if that makes any sense. It just kind of spun it around 90 degrees, and of course you can use this to rotate it all the way around 180 degrees, or even 360 if you just want it to look exactly the same, because 360 is going to put you in the same spot that is in. Some builds, especially if they're already on the straight axes, can be rotated to not a 90-degree angle. It may mess up some of these windows as they're glass panes, and it's kind of a case-by-case basis. But if I wanted to rotate my clipboard another, say 20 degrees, I'm going to type in rotate 20, and you can see my clipboard has been rotated again. And I can paste it in, and you can kind of see it's on an angle here. The villager houses are a little bit too small for this to really be effective, but if they're bigger builds and out of blocks that aren't really stairs or windows or logs, you may see that it works perfectly fine and you're fine with it. It's a case-by-case basis. I wouldn't rely on it very often, but yeah, this doesn't look like a very comfortable bed to sleep in. Anyways, let's move on. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this one just because it's right here out of the way, kind of. Now that I've selected this house, if I wanted to make a row of houses without copy and pasting each one, paste all the way down the line, I can stack it by facing the direction I want it to go, then typing / stack, and then how many I want to go. I would say stick to the lower numbers to start off with. If you need it to go further, you can make it go further later. But let's, for this case, just click 3. It's going to give me 3 more houses right in line with this one, equally spaced apart. I use this command a lot, and it's super handy in building things that have patterns or just walls that you want to extend without having to walk. And I'm lazy. Very lazy. So I do things like that. And just to show you what typing a big number can do, because we can, I'm going to type in 20. You might think, oh, hey kitty, 20 is not a very big number. 20 is not a very big number if it's just one block next to each other. But each of these selections is about 7 or 8. So I'm going to click 20. And they keep going. And going. And going. So, this village is going to be very happy, by the way. But you do not need 20 houses in a row. So just be careful how big your number is. So those are just the basics of World Edit that I would highly recommend that builders or anyone who wants to get into World Edit start with. And they just make life a little bit easier, and for lazy people like me, they're very helpful. World Edit is a plugin that you need to install on your own server if you want to use it. You cannot just grab a wooden axe and start doing these commands, and I will link that plugin down below in case you're interested in adding it to your own world. But I do encourage you to join Ohanacraft. It's only going to be $15 a month to use World Edit on our creative server, in case you want help by our server admins, or if you just want to play with some others, we're more than happy to have you here. If you do want me to go more in depth on some of the more advanced features of World Edit, such as curves or waves, please feel free to like this video, subscribe, or leave a comment below letting me know that you want to see more. That is all for today's video. I would like to say a big thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and goodbye!